What's happening, YouTube? This is the Clovers and Top Hat Guys Library Talk. We are doing another chapter, a chapter 7, The Sorting Hat of the first Harry Potter book. So, put on your robes, get out your wands, and let's talk about wizards. All right, so this chapter, it's pretty important, I'd say. I mean, it sets Harry's whole journey before him, and I mean, we are officially in Hogwarts, y'all. That's awesome. This is fantastic. We are wizards. All right, so I think the best way to start this off is ask our first-time reader here, Chloe. Say hey, Chloe.
Hello.
So how do you think about this person's chapter? I know it adds so much more detail.
It does. You learn about a lot of backstories that you didn't learn about in the movie, especially Neville's. You also hear a lot about the different houses, as opposed to in the book where you just kind of learn about mostly Gryffindor, because as we learn, most of the main characters happen to be in Gryffindor.
That bias is in there for sure.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot to the story for sure.
Indeed. So yeah, this chapter, it has incredible amounts of detail, and there's a lot of differences between this chapter in the books and the movies for sure. Like, to start off, I guess we would say we get a little more detail of before the dining hall. We thought we would be starting out right there at the door, but no, we get, Professor McGonagall comes and leads us a little bit further in, and we get a little bit of details in the little corridors right before leading into the hallway that goes right there to the dining hall.
For one, they are terrified of how they'll be sorted.
Oh yeah, the whole way through, instead of focusing on all the beautiful architecture and stuff, most of the students are mumbling or amongst themselves about, oh my goodness, what's the sorting ceremony gonna consist of? Like, Ron's brothers have completely terrified and petrified him with jokes of what might be to come for him.
Well, we know-it-all Hermione is talking about all the spells she's learned.
Yeah.
And which one they're going to have to perform.
Yes, everyone is terrified but Hermione. She's over here like, I got this. I know so many spells. Now I wonder which ones they're going to make me do. I know I got it, though. She's like 100% A1 sauce on this one.
And we all know that all they do is slap a hat on.
It's just hilarious knowing that and watching the movies and just hearing how they're all just completely petrified about, oh my gosh.
We're going to be watching next time we watch the movie to see if they actually show us how scared they are.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're going to have to. And then through Harry, like, you can tell the scaredness on its own through Harry alone, because he doesn't know any magic.
Nothing.
He's completely new to this world, and
as many of them are.
Yeah, as it claims a lot of people are. Even Ron reassures him that there are plenty of Muggleborns that come through Hogwarts and don't know a thing and learn very well, like learn quickly and pick it up. Which is, it's great that Harry has Ron in this situation. It would be terrible if he had nobody, but luckily.
It'd be terrible if we had Draco.
And it would be even worse if he had Draco. Yeah. That's going to be wrapped around at the end of this segment, actually, is I want to bring that up. But yeah, so as well as that, there's also, they run into some very frightening people that definitely don't make their scared and petrifiedness any worse.
They have a run-in with the Hogwarts ghost.
Yes, and it completely, illustrates Harry keeps calling the Hufflepuff ghost a
Fat friar.
Well, he is a
Well,
friend.
well,
Fat monk.
Fat little monk.
A fat little monk. And it is hilarious. The disrespect immediately. Like, you got to think that maybe J.K. Rowling didn't like Hufflepuff a little bit. But I
It's a
love
little
my
housist.
Hufflepuff. I know. Poor thing. This is our little Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff is obviously the best house. They're loyal.
They are loyal and just, like the song says. Oh, speaking of, there are multiple songs, and
we get to hear the house sing a little song about all the houses. That is how we gain most of our knowledge about the houses and what they consist of.
Indeed, yes, it is. I'm a good singer, apparently, into the tune, too. I tell you what, I made the birds sing right
here. Made the dogs bark, too.
I did make the dogs bark a little bit, but you know what? I think they were just trying to sing along with me.
As you guys know, we have 2 dogs in our backyard.
Indeed. They are adorable. They are our babies. All right, and so we finally, they get petrified by the ghosts, and McGonagall opens the door, and they are open to the whole dining hall with, I think the order is, was it Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Gryffindor? I think that sounds about right.
I believe so.
I believe that's how.
Although, it seems like Gryffindor is closer to the aisle.
Is it?
In the movies it is. I don't know if it is in the house. In the book. It
described them. I just can't remember the placing too well. There was a lot. There was a lot going on.
It was. Where we find the next discrepancy between the book and the movie, there are almost all the students who are called and sorted into their houses before Harry. In the movie, he is about the 3rd person to be called. In the book, he is 3rd from last.
Is he 3rd? I know Ron's 2nd to last. Is he right before Ron?
He is right before Ron.
Okay.
Yes.
I just remember they made a huge hoo-yah about it. Like, the Weasleys stood up immediately when the Gryffindor, when the hat says Gryffindor, and they just scream up and say, "We have Potter!"
Yes.
And it's hilarious.
Everyone was, when they heard Harry Potter's name, they were all going, "The Harry Potter? Is it that Harry Potter?"
It's
because everybody knows
Everybody knows Harry. Harry don't even know Harry, and everybody else knows Harry. It's so interesting, and I love the journey. It's a really fun journey. That J.K. Rowling wrote a really good narrative. It's a fun journey to read around. Like, it's really fun, and I think the movies they did well, but the details in the book just are unparalleled according to it. Like, I really think so. The dining hall alone, just Harry looking up at the ceiling and seeing what looked like a gaze to
a night sky,
yes. And as it looked like they were standing outside.
Mm-hmm.
And while they portray that beautifully in the movies, I think it's just how he gets to it is...
They paint such a beautiful picture in the book.
They do. It's great. Another... I keep saying but the book has so many differences that, like the details, especially on characters' background. We have Neville come in and mention, after Ron kind of asked him pretty much, but he gives his whole backstory here at the dining hall after everybody's sorted, and that's not mentioned at all in the books.
No.
It seems like Neville is a more
prominent character.
He's like part of the crew. I might as well, because so far, anyways, he's been mentioned in every chapter since they've gone.
He came in.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. Like, that's interesting. I didn't think of Neville as a main character as much as like a main side character in the movies, but he's kind of like, we got his backstory on how he found out he was a wizard, which sounds crazy. His uncle's dangling him from the window, and he pretty much drops him, and luckily Neville is magical and just bounces like a trampoline. That's hilarious. I think
we also meet a very important character, and while we don't meet him, we're introduced to him through sight, and that is Snape.
Ah, yes. We're actually kind of introduced to we're reintroduced before we're even mentioning with Snape. Well, is Snape first or is it?
Professor Quirrell?
No, Headmaster.
Headmaster Dumbledore.
Yeah, is he?
He might be before because it's before their meeting.
Right. So yeah, we do get Dumbledore before we get Snape, and
we do.
We get a song from everybody, the Hogwarts
That's
song.
That's afterwards, though.
Is that afterwards?
That's afterwards.
Oh, I'm all tangled up. I'm so sorry, y'all. This is why I have her here. She's doing the show. I'm just here.
That's after the entire meal.
All right. I'm so sorry. That is, isn't it? Well, I just love music so much. That's what I remember of these chapters, is the songs. Yeah, we get I guess, but like the meal's right after Neville's thing, so that goes pretty well in play here.
Yeah. We also, though, we meet Professor Snape, and we get something that is in the movie, very important. He gets a sharp sting.
Oh, sharp sting
in his scar.
Yeah.
When Snape looks at him.
When he thinks Snape's looking at him, but in reality, it's, well, we'll find out at the end of the book. But if you know, you know. So I think with that ominous thing I put down in there, I guess we should finish this segment with the last thing that happens in this chapter. They make their way after the dining hall and everything.
We meet a character that we do not meet in the movie. We meet a little poltergeist.
Yes, I almost forgot the best part about the books that separate the books from the movies. We meet Peeves in the very end of this chapter. The poltergeist of Hogwarts. And Peeves, if you don't know, is a very comical character. He's like if Fred and George both died and just emerged as one and became the poltergeist of the school for eternity. That's what Peeves is like, okay? It's hilarious.
We're also missing something about the stairs. They do not mention that the stairs in Hogwarts move.
Oh yes, there apparently is no moving staircase in the book series, or at least not in this chapter. It might be added, might be mentioned later.
Yes.
We're not sure. We haven't got there yet, so. And finally, we end the chapter and a very cliffhanging kind of note where Harry is sleeping and he thinks he ate too much sweets because he has this petrifying dream of a turban, of all things. Who do we know who has a turban, honey?
They didn't hear about that. That was Professor Quirrell.
Oh, yes. We, I guess, didn't mention that. I'm just terrible at this. I'm so glad I have her, y'all. I don't know what I would be lost without her. Just so lost.
So Professor Quirrell happens to wear a turban around his head, and if you know why. But that turban is found on Harry in his dream.
Just completely choking him tighter and tighter, restricting him as tight as it can.
He has a voice in his head telling him that he needs to go to Slytherin because it is his destiny.
His destiny. That's just how I kind of sense the voices sound like.
He has a reason, but we're not going to spoil that if you don't know.
Indeed. Now, comment down below what you think your house would be. Obviously, I am a Gryffindor through and through.
I'm a proud Hufflepuff.
And you darn right she is. The best house. The best house. It's the least mentioned, but the most loved.
Most underrated house.
We love our Hufflepuffs, don't we? Like and subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and we will see you next time.